Today we're taking a look at my personal top 10 games that released on iPhone in 2021. For reference, all games have been played on an iPhone 13 Pro. Number 10, we have Seven Nights 2. Seven Nights 2 went under the radar in 2021. This one is an action RPG and is honestly the most graphically advanced free mobile game I've ever seen. In many cases, it's on the graphical level of an early PS4 or Xbox One AAA game. Seven Nights 2 is also the first high-end game I've seen on mobile to support the Vulkan framework to improve performance. You can enjoy a lot here without spending a dime too, but bear in mind, this is a gacha game, first and foremost. It's kind of impossible to avoid at least some pay-to-win elements with these sorts of games, but it isn't completely awful here. You can have fun. Seven Nights 2 is best played on an iPhone 7 Plus, an iPhone 8 Plus, an iPhone 10 and later, or an iPhone SE 2nd Gen. Number 9 is Baba Is You. A good game doesn't always have to be about high quality graphics. Baba Is You is one of my favourite puzzle games of all time, and I can't believe that it came to the App Store in 2021. What a brilliant idea by the developer. Yes, it sure does have very weird gameplay mechanics, but moving the character around by just swiping on screen in any direction that you want to go is pretty easy. There are unique gestures for rewinding moves or restarting levels too, or you can play with the controller if you prefer. It's hard to explain what the heck you actually do in this game, but basically in every level, the rules are present as blocks that you can interact with. By manipulating them, you can change how the level works and cause surprising and unexpected interactions. Baba Is You costs $6.99 USD. It is supported on most iPhones out there. Number 8, we have Unruly Heroes. Unruly Heroes is a really good 2D platformer. When done right, platformers can work very well on iPhone, as they can sometimes only require you to press a few on-screen buttons. It was done correctly in Rayman Legends, Oddmar, and Shantae and the Seven Sirens, and now Unruly Heroes 2. In fact, this game was made by many former Rayman devs, so its style, gameplay, and character animations are quite similar. You follow the journey of a master and his 3 disciples as they fight mystical demons, solve puzzles, collect loot, parkour and platform around, and much more. Unruly Heroes is so gosh dang dilly dong dong cheap, costing only $1.99 USD. It is supported on most iPhones out there. Number 7 is Crash Bandicoot on the Run. I tend to not like runners on the App Store, but if anything had to be enjoyable and bring back the glory days of this genre on mobile, it must be this one. And I think it does. Sure, Crash Bandicoot on the Run has the gameplay of other runners like Subway Surfers and I guess Temple Run, but it involves its own twist into the mix. The absolutely classic gameplay of dodging dangers and knocking around monsters is here, but where this one differs is how it contains heaps of maps to run on. You can play against other players, there are bosses, you can build and upgrade your base, you can change the look of your character, you can play as different characters, you can play minigames and much more. Being free to play still comes with its drawbacks, but if I was to suggest one runner out of the thousands of them on the App Store, I would always recommend this one. Crash Bandicoot on the Run is supported on most iPhones out there. Number 6, we have LEGO Star Wars Castaways. It's still strange to me that the latest LEGO Star Wars game is an Apple Arcade exclusive. It's also the first time that we've had online co-op in these games, and it's such a blast to play with random players or friends. To be fair, Castaways is a little different to past LEGO Star Wars games. It uses a top-down perspective, has shorter missions, significantly easier puzzles, and you don't play as any of the iconic characters from this universe. Instead, you play as your own customizable character. It's not all bad, as the missions are based on important moments from the movies, and you'll see outstanding cutscenes with your favourite iconic characters. The touch UI is not too overwhelming either, or you can play with a controller. LEGO Star Wars Castaways is available to Apple Arcade subscribers on the App Store. It is supported on an iPhone 6s or later, or an iPhone SE 1st gen or later. Number 5 is Cut the Rope Remastered. Here is my favourite casual iPhone game of 2021. Cut the Rope has always been a classic when it comes to mobile gaming. This remastered version brings back what we all loved, but now with a 3D remaster. As per usual, you need to help feed Omnom delicious candy. You'll do this by cutting ropes, avoiding obstacles, and you can use boosters to deliver the candy. The game now contains a new main menu, colourful 3D levels, and cute new animations for Omnom. The game doesn't have controller support on iPhone, but this isn't really an issue for me, as the game is best played with your fingers anyway. Cut the Rope Remastered is available to Apple Arcade subscribers on the App Store. It is supported on an iPhone 6s or later, or an iPhone SE 1st gen or later. Number 4, we have My Friend Pedro. My Friend Pedro saw a mobile conversion in 2021, and it's been done very well. You'll play exclusively with the touchscreen controls, but they have been adjusted for ease of use here, and it's very good. Drag in the opposite direction you want to jump in, and release to jump. You can also tap on screen to shoot, and time will pause when shooting or when jumping. The game contains 37 levels, and you'll go into levels on foot, on a motorcycle, and a skateboard. It also has a great free-to-play model. Players can play the whole game for free and restart from checkpoints, but a premium unlock of only $2.99 USD is available to remove ads and gain access to the Blood Rush game mode. My Friend Pedro is supported on most iPhones out there. Number 3 is Rocket League Sideswipe. If you're going to get something from this list, it should be that I love when developers adjust their games for small touchscreens. Rocket League Sideswipe might be the best mobile port of the original PC or console version that I've ever seen. Instead of using the third-person perspective, which would be awkward with touch controls, Psyonix have given the game a side-scrolling perspective. Controlling the vehicles still takes a bit of learning, sure, but it isn't anywhere near as difficult as the original game. You can also play with a controller during matches if you'd prefer. The perspective change doesn't lose the intense sports action either. It's still super addicting, competitive, and humorous at times. It also has no ads or in-app purchases, but this might change when the game goes out of pre-season. It is supported on an iPhone 6s or later, or an iPhone SE 1st gen or later. Number 2, we have Northgard. I usually don't recommend strategy games for iPhone, but PlayDigis have done a really excellent port that is completely fine to play on iPhone. What I really love is that you can go into the game's settings and adjust the menu scale and in-game scale so everything is easier to read. Hardly any games on the App Store do this, and it's great to see. Northgard is based on Norse mythology, and players will control a clan of Vikings fighting for the control of a newfound continent. There is a single-player mode for custom games, a story mode featuring 14 plus hours of gameplay, and a multiplayer mode where you can play against other mobile players with up to 6 players. Northgard costs $8.99 USD. Just like other platforms, it also contains DLCs via in-app purchases. It is supported on an iPhone 6s or later, or an iPhone SE 1st gen or later. Number 1, we have Alien Isolation. Usually when devs bring a first-person game to mobile, the touch controls are just awful, let's be honest. Alien Isolation features the most comfortable touchscreen controls that I've ever seen for a first-person game on mobile. Yes, it's a survival horror game, and it's quite slow-paced, which definitely helps. You are also constantly hunted by an alien here, and you'll almost never use any guns against it, as its exoskeleton is practically impenetrable. Feral Interactive have expanded on touch input, with making some minor adaptations to in-game interactions for terminals, weapon or tool selection, minigames, and so on and so on. Plus, auto-aim has been added, different aim inputs too, and custom control schemes. Or you can just avoid all of that and play with the controller, and rumble vibration is supported. Alien Isolation costs $14.99 USD. It is supported on an iPhone 7 Plus, an iPhone 8 Plus, an iPhone 10 and later, or an iPhone SE 2nd Gen. Here are some bonus iPhone games from 2021. In LEGO Star Wars Battles, players will lead their favorite LEGO Star Wars characters into real-time, multiplayer PvP battles in arenas inspired by iconic locations from throughout the galaxy. Wonderbox, the adventure maker, has you exploring an ever-expanding universe with other players. You can make and share your own adventures too. Like I said in my top 10 iPad games of 2021 last week, I featured League of Legends Wild Rift last year when it was in beta, and I just don't want to show it again, but if you're interested, you should know that as of March 2021, it's out in public beta. Touchgrind Scooter is an awesome casual sports game from the people who brought you Touch BMX 2 and the other stuff that's similar. What games have you been playing on your iPhone in 2021? Did I miss your favorite game on this list? I think this list might be a little bit mixed for some people, but I hope you can find something in here that you can truly enjoy. Anyway, leave a like to show your support and subscribe and turn on notifications to stay up to date with everything Apple gaming related. My name is Stewie and thanks for watching.